This is Viterbi Voices, your chance to hear stories about research, classes, student life, and more.
Directly from our students, faculty, and other members of our engineering community. All right here at the USC Viterbi School of Engineering.
Welcome back to Viterbi Voices. My name is Audrey Roberts. I'm a senior studying mechanical engineering, and I'm the co-host of our podcast. You'll notice Paul isn't here with us this week just because of some scheduling issues. Mahima and I are recording it separately, but Paul is all good, and we'll be back on our next episode. But I gave you a sneak preview. Mahima is our guest this week. So Mahima, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Mahima. I'm a junior studying industrial systems engineering, and I'm currently at home in Pennsylvania.
Excellent. Thanks for being here once again. And can you just tell us a little bit about the podcast you have this week?
Sure. So I wanted to take an opportunity this time around to talk to some of the freshman students. I know personally as a junior, I've still had a really hard time online, and I thought it would be really interesting to hear from students who are experiencing their first year in college online. And I think this is a really great opportunity to hear from them about their experiences making friends and taking classes. And hopefully this kind of turns into a long-term project where we can follow up with them as sophomores and juniors and seniors as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mahima. We'll get out of the way and hand it over to you and many of our first year students.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me today for this interview. I am really excited for this, and I can't wait to see this kind of become a final product 3 years from now. Why don't we all take a second to introduce ourselves, preferably your name, major, your pronouns, and where you're from.
Hi, my name is Caleb Flanori. My pronouns are he, him, his. I am an electrical and computer engineering major with a minor in gender and social justice. I am from Jonesboro, Georgia, but I live in LA right now.
Hi, I'm Isaac. I am he, him, his, and I am a computer science major from Culver City, California.
Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm a mechanical engineering major from Los Angeles, more specifically Santa Monica.
Hi, I'm Nick. He, him, his. I'm an astronautical engineering major from Bakersfield, California.
My name is Nicholas Gomez. I'm a civil engineering freshman from Las Vegas, Nevada.
And then Tracy.
Hi, my name is Tracy Trong. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I am currently majoring in chemical engineering with an emphasis on sustainable energy, and I'm from Los Angeles.
Thank you guys so much. So let's just get right into it. A big reason I wanted to interview your class in particular is because similar to our incoming class, your recruitment experience was all online, and a lot of you didn't actually get the chance to come to campus and really see what USC is all about, because I think a big part about going to USC is the campus life itself. So I want to talk about your recruitment experience, what events you went to, and kind of ultimately how you came to choosing USC.
For my recruitment experience, honestly, I went through a lot of YouTube videos looking at comparisons between different colleges. And I found that the USC community had the best networking, the best Trojan family, which I was really looking forward to experiencing.
So having grown up in LA my whole life, I've been fortunate enough to have visited USC's campus a few times in the past, like years back. So I had sort of had a sense of what USC was like, but I guess back then I was never looking at it as this is a potential place that I could be for the next 4 years. So during, I guess it would be when I was making a decision of where I wanted to go for college, I really took advantage of the online events. I think Viterbi hosted a program where I was able to talk to an actual Viterbi student one-on-one, sit down for 30 minutes and just ask all of my questions. And I remember I just asked so many questions about student life and like what opportunities were available to me. And I guess I really enjoyed what I heard and I ended up here.
I was fortunate enough to actually attend one of the last Explore programs that USC held last year. So I was able to come to campus and get the whole experience. and that definitely helped me choose USC. Without that, I don't know if I would have exactly ended up here.
They had a presentation here at in one of the casinos where they actually went through the whole application process and different majors and etc. And I also listened to this podcast a lot of times to see what life was like on campus, and that kind of I think it came down to three colleges, but and USC had the best graduation rate, the smallest class sizes, and the most funds for research. That's kind of why I picked of those reasons.
Yeah, for me, being from the Central Valley, I was still able to like visit USC throughout my life. Like I knew the general campus vibe. I think comparing it to like other engineering schools that I couldn't visit, a big thing I was looking for was like diversity in student population, diversity in thought, especially in engineering. Um, and I also attended a lot of like student panels within engineering to figure out what I specifically wanted to do and what it was like. And I think Viterbi really just had the best option for me. And most important that stood out to me was having a student life, like actually being able to not just be an engineer within the engineering program.
I think the two big things for me were first the prospective student club fair that Viterbi put on. I kept on finding more and more clubs that I wanted to join and meeting more people that I thought were really cool. And also this sort of unofficial Viterbi group chat that a bunch of the prospective freshmen had created. I found that more than any school, there was already an online community forming around Viterbi and around USC. And there was nothing I'd seen in any other school I was looking at. And it just made me think that I would have both an academically rich, but also a like strong community experience at USC.
Yeah, I think compared to my experience deciding, I feel like visiting campus was kind of a big factor for me. I came to visit like the last week of April, like right before I had to make a decision, and I just kind of fell in love with campus. What are you most looking forward to about being in LA and kind of being a student in that physical space?
I am really excited. Maybe it's less about being in LA, but I'm really excited to just get on campus and have the experiences of, living in dorms with your friends and having, I don't know, Friday movie nights or just having fun with people. I guess the classic like college experience that I've been waiting for. And I think that's less an aspect of being in LA and more an aspect of being on campus, like closely surrounded by all of your friends and other students.
Yeah, I'm also from LA, so the whole idea of getting to be there is nothing exciting or new for me. But I'm very much excited to be in like a lively campus, to be surrounded by people my age with similar interests with me, and to be doing work together and to get to show people who aren't from LA all the wonders that are in the city, all the good food, all the hiking trails, the beach, and so on and so forth.
Okay, from like someone who's not in California, like LA is so diverse in culture and different opportunities, festivals, like food places, all different sorts of things that I think would be kind of cool to kind of investigate when I get on campus. But as well, there's so many engineering companies around campus. Like there's SpaceX, there's Tesla, there's all these companies that, but undoubtedly, that I think would also be kind of cool to maybe take a look at. Maybe I don't know if they have tours, but kind of investigate those companies as well. Kind of see what's going on around campus and in Los Angeles.
For me, I think obviously like being able to finally see my friends that I've met online in person and being able to hang out is the biggest thing. But other than that, I really enjoy food. I'm excited for like all the food opportunities that are around and in the LA area.
Yeah, I'll have to admit that I'm also really looking forward to going back and eating the food. Me and my friends have kind of created like a bucket list of restaurants that we have to go to, but also there are just like a lot of really great food spots on campus that I can't wait to spend all my money at. Nick, you also brought up a really good point about like meeting your friends, and I wanted to talk about that because I mean I'm a junior, so a lot of the friends that I had are just people I've seen in my Zoom classes before and people I've known. And even as a junior, I'm taking physics this year, and I didn't really know a lot of people in that class, so it was a strange experience to have to like meet new people and like make new friends over Zoom and like not really having known them before. So for you guys coming in, like, I mean, some of you might have had friends before who also went to USC, but like, what was that experience like in reaching out and meeting people in an online situation? Because obviously, like, your whole idea of college is very much that in-person experience with really close friends. So what was that like meeting people online and kind of developing relationships and friendships there?
For me, I thought it was kind of easy for me because I tried to join as many clubs as possible and like consistently go to meetings. To name a few, I'm in NESB, Quest, and USC Makers, and just attending the meetings regularly, you get to interact with people and like look forward to meeting them in person. So that definitely helped a lot.
Yeah, I think this is actually an area where USC kind of shines. Being a school that is so social as is, carries over to the online world that I think even more compared to other experiences at other colleges, the students here are really actively trying to form a group online. And yeah, I'm also in Makers and some other clubs, and I found that all of these organizations sort of outside of class are really devoted to making sure that we all meet each other, and there's constantly breakout rooms in classes. So I've actually not had that much difficulty meeting people so far.
Unlike what has been stated, I actually have last semester I kind of really struggled to make friends. I certainly joined a fair share of clubs and I was very active in meetings, although I felt like while I did get to know the people very well, at like every Wednesday at 7, I would see them and we'd work through our engineering projects together. I wouldn't really like know them outside of the club, and I wouldn't really, just text them, like send them a funny meme or something like that. Like we didn't have that type of relationship, and for that reason, it kind of felt very difficult to make friends. But I will say, this semester I've sort of forced myself to reach out. So I'm sort of more actively pursuing these relationships, and I have made friends outside of my club. So I will say for me personally, it was a little more challenging, but I guess it's definitely there if you want it.
I've made some great friends within my majors from like simply just talking with them for studying or something. And then we would talk outside from that. And then also like I've joined a sorority, and it's really nice to meet people outside of my major, outside of the engineering school. And it's just been really nice.
Yeah, kind of similar thing with me is that most of my friends, most of the relationships have come from study groups within my math and science classes. So that's kind of where I've made most of my connections. And fortunately, I guess I've been able to like continue. They've had me in multiple classes, so I've been able to kind of build a better connection with them. But yeah, most of them have come from study groups this semester.
I think in classes, like being online, even with breakout rooms and stuff, it's really difficult to genuinely connect with people and like make friends outside, and also like making friends outside of classes with that. So I joined like organizations to like have like a institution or some structure to force you to like be friends and to make connections with people. And I think through those orgs that I've joined, I've really found a community and a home at USC.
You kind of raise a really great point about kind of the freshman experience and how Viterbi really tries to foster this connection right at the beginning. And one of those ways is through Freshmen Academy, which is probably one of my favorite parts about freshman year. I just have really fun memories of my coaches, and I'm still really close friends with some of the people. So can we all talk about our Freshman Academy experiences and kind of what that was like for you meeting other people in Viterbi, but in different majors, and kind of how that coach experience was, and like kind of to have that sort of mentor relationship like right at the beginning of your freshman year?
I always thought Freshman Academy was pretty fun. My coaches are really nice, and I met some cool people in it, actually, like Caleb. It was nice hearing about sort of all of other classes are very intensely academic, and this class is more like the coaches telling us what the restaurants were around campus, or like giving us guidance about where to find housing or how to do LinkedIn. It was kind of like a very practical class that sort of made me feel a little more prepared for whenever I got to campus. So it was a good experience overall, and it was not very hard at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Isaac. Also because we met each other after, and like we're also in majors together, so we've like been in a few clubs. But I've met other people in Freshman Academy as well, and also they kind of helped me build like a bucket list of things to do when I come out to LA as well. It was just a very fun experience where we just got to see like what USC was also about, but also see what the engineering component like has to offer us.
For me, I was able to find, especially like it being your first semester, with the coaches side of the classroom, they did a lot of like community building, and like teamwork. And I found like one of my closest friends, that I'm rooming with in the fall, in that class. And then also with the coaches, like they've, to this day, I think I talked with them like 2 days ago about registration and like housing and like different classes I'm taking in the fall.
I mean, same for me. I've met a lot of people. I met some people in this classes I'm still friends with today that still have classes with them as well. We still hang out, study. But like the actual academy, the class itself kind of gave me a perspective of what we could be like at the end of our 4 years in college, kind of the impact we could have as students with engineering degrees from USC, or with just the knowledge that we would obtain from the classes at USC. So that's kind of something that also allowed me to give me a little bit more of a perspective of kind of how important, taking advantage of our education was.
Yeah, I think my favorite part about it was, or at least being a freshman, I was super worried about making friends, especially in engineering, because I was still very skeptical about my major. And I think having those coaches and having upperclassmen that you can just kind of like, you can ask them any question is just really helpful. Like, I still talk to my coaches every so often. I remember like texting my coaches about like, either like doubts or like questions I had. And I just think it's a really great resource that you get to have like right off the bat as a freshman, to have these people and like have this support system like right from the get-go. Why don't we talk more about kind of our majors and kind of deciding on which majors, because in high school I never really understood how somebody could immediately say they wanted to be a BME or a biomedical engineer. I just feel like our fields are so broad and yet so specific at the same time with the disciplines and kind of like the possibilities they have. So I was wondering if all of you could just talk about kind of how you came to the decision of your choice of major, and like what have those classes been like so far, and what has being in that major, like what were your expectations coming in, and have these classes in your first year kind of met these expectations, exceeded them, or were they different from what you were expecting?
Yes, I think this is a great question, because I certainly, coming into college, I had the exact same fear. I was like, oh my God, what if I do mechanical engineering, or what if I realize I want to change to chemical or something like that? And that's actually one of the reasons that I chose USC, because I had heard that USC makes it very easy to transfer majors within Viterbi. And I was like, okay, I can always have this for peace of mind for myself. But I guess for a little context, in high school, I was very involved with my robotics team. I did VEX robotics, in case anyone knows what that is. And I had done coding, and I had done strategy, and I had done build. Like, I had done a little bit of it all. But I really loved the building aspect. So actually like putting together pieces of metal and like screwing nuts and bolts and stuff like that. I really loved working with my hands. I simplify it, but like it definitely was a lot more than just nuts and bolts. But I really loved working with my hands, and coming from that, I sort of had the idea that I wanted to do mechanical engineering, or it seemed like the natural thing to do. And then coming into my first semester, so fall of last year, I took AME 101, which is Intro to Mechanical Engineering, which it was kind of a scary class, because the course is structured so that it's an overview of everything that you'll learn in 4 years. So we learned a little bit about statics and fluids and all of these good things that we'll really delve into in the next few years. But I think what I really loved about that class was the lab component. So outside of lectures, I think once a week we had lab, and we also had lab assignments. And one of the big things that I took away from lab was CADing, or 3D modeling. So towards the end of the semester, we had this bridge project where we actually had to design the strongest truss bridge, and then they printed them at school and tested them under loading. So putting weight on it. And I just thought it was so nice to come from knowing really nothing about CAD to actually being able to design and test a bridge and then like see the actual results of what you've done. I thought that was a great wrap up to the semester.
I think that's like a really great part about engineering is like the work you're doing is like sometimes it's really tangible in that sense where you have models, and other times it's like code working without any errors. But that's probably one of my favorite parts about like the Viterbi hands-on part of the classes, especially.
Yeah, for me, it's a little different. I'm pretty fortunate because I've really known that I wanted to major in computer science since I was 7 years old. It's just kind of been no question for me. I've always been like, okay, I'm going to major in computer science. I've never thought, oh, maybe I'll major in something else. So I never had like a big deciding factor. I've just always known.
For me, I got into electrical and computer engineering because it kind of started with gaming. And then when I transitioned from like console to PC, I started looking at PC specs and everything. And then just getting into different hardware components of it was very interesting, and learning how they work was also very interesting to me. So I was like, let's try to pursue it. And, I had a similar, experience, with Lauren in the sense that, my freshman engineering class, EE 109, was very broad, and they tried to cover a lot of topics that we would experience. And it was kind of overwhelming, but it also kind of affirmed that I still want to be in that class, in that major.
Personally, I'm still actually debating between civil and mechanical engineering myself. I'm still trying to figure out which major I want to go into. But the reason I picked civil engineering for freshman year is because, like when I was a kid, I always wanted to be a structural engineer. That's kind of the reason I kind of joined USC as well, is that one of the key themes is engineering for humanity, trying to, engineer for the better, for the good. And so that's kind of, that's something that I can see myself doing as a civil engineer specifically, more than a mechanical engineer, based off of, kind of the projects that they do, the impact that they have. So that's kind of why I chose civil engineering.
I came in as an aerospace engineer, but then after I went to like a couple of panels hearing more about it, and I didn't 100% know what astronautical engineering was even a choice at USC, or just in general, having that greater focus. And Viterbi is super nice about swabbing. I changed like within a day after I decided, and it was just one form. And then after my first major related class, Astro 101, it's a smaller major, more like a niche subject. So the class was relatively small. So I got to know like a lot of the people in my major, or like in my incoming class. And then having that focus in the space industry while applying the same ideas that are in like mechanical engineering and aeronautical engineering really interested me, and I've enjoyed everything that I've done and how it pertains into like the broader industry of the space industry.
I didn't start getting interested in chemical engineering until like my junior year of high school. And it started interesting me because I was really good at chemistry. And in my AP Chem class, I really enjoyed doing those labs, and some other people weren't really enjoying it that much, but I totally understand that. And then it wasn't until senior year of high school where I took part in this algae lab where I was making biodiesel from algae. And this was something that was really interesting to me. And then I found that at USC, there was an emphasis in sustainable energy. So this was perfect for my wheelhouse.
I think it's really great that Viterbi like does encourage you to really like figure out what's for you and like take that time, because I was not one of those people who knew right away. I wish I was like Isaac and I had that kind of like certainty like right from the beginning, but I didn't. And so I just think it's really great that you're allowed that time to figure out what you want to be doing, because all the disciplines are so different and they're all really great. But I had no clue what ISC was coming into USC, and like right up until I switched my major, I really didn't know much about the program at all. I think one of the best pieces of advice you can give to freshmen is just to get involved, because even if you're not necessarily like super interested in that involvement, it's a really great way to meet people, because Like let's take makers, for example. You just find a lot of people who are really passionate about the same stuff that you are, and that's a really great foundation for making friends. So I just want to talk about your experiences in different organizations, Viterbi, outside of Viterbi, and what that's been like online, especially because I know a lot of organizations are pretty hands-on. So what's that been like in an online environment as well?
I'm in the marching band. I play the trumpet. And the first question, oh, I guess Laura is too. And like the first question everyone always asks me is, how do you do marching band over Zoom? And I don't have a good answer. There's not like a really good response. So I think it's pretty amazing that even though we're really doing marching band over Zoom alone from our bedrooms, I've still been having a really good time. I've made like really close friends in my section. I love my trumpet section leader. You know, I feel the spirit still through my little camera. And yeah, marching band is very time intensive and very demanding. You have to like learn to play an instrument, but I didn't even play the trumpet going into the band. I was like totally new to music, and pretty much they will teach you everything. Some guy showed up at my house one day with a trumpet. They spent like one-on-one time teaching me how to play the trumpet and teaching me marching and stuff. And it's just been such an amazing experience. I highly recommend joining the marching band. No musical experience required.
I would love to add on to this marching band experience. I too am in marching band. I play the clarinet, which like Isaac, I didn't know how to play the clarinet coming into marching band. I had a lot of musical experience, but I didn't know how to play the clarinet. And I'm not really great by any means, but I certainly know how to play all the greatest hits like Tusk, Tribute to Troy, all that good stuff. And like Isaac alluded to, there is definitely a sense of camaraderie in the marching band. Like the clarinet section is, I think, 20 people. And I mentioned that earlier that I had struggled to like form relationships outside of classes and stuff like that. But through marching band, I felt like I got to know these people really well within it. Like we have a group me, a chat that was like popping off all the time last semester. We would always send just like great, great things. And it is a really time intensive like commitment. I think last semester was something like 10 hours a week. Maybe that's a little much, but it certainly got up there. So, you know, spending that much time with people, like you're going to get to know them really well. And at the end of the day, I think like I've heard marching band described as you playing music with a bunch of your friends, and even through Zoom, it felt like that. Like there was very much a sense that it's a community, and we're just having fun here.
During the past 2 semesters, I've tried to join as many clubs as I can, which is obviously not a good idea because you get too involved in too many things. But that's kind of allowed me to kind of which ones I really want to be involved in. I'm not like actively involved 100% in all clubs, obviously because of the situation of being online, having very few meetings, etc. But you know, I've joined ASCE, ERI, ASME, different clubs from different majors, etc. And that's kind of allowed me also to kind of learn more about my major and other majors and kind of decide whether or not it's a good fit for me. So that's also, I think that's also a good idea for freshmen to kind of understand if they really want to stick in their major, if they really want to do, because they also have different applications for information you learn in classes. So I think, like you said, I think that would be a really good application for freshmen.
For me, when choosing organizations, I tried to be like a bit strategic about which ones in the different areas of what specifically I wanted to get out of the organization and how it applied to me. So my fall, I joined SHIP, which is the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. It created a good community while also having that professional development side to it. And I really enjoyed that and all the friends and like familia I was able to create in that organization. And then I also joined ASPEN, which is the Advanced Spacecraft Propulsion and Energy Lab. That's more on the research side and technical stuff towards my major and what I wanted to do in it. And I really enjoyed that. And also with like being a research club, it's like highly technical. The people in the organization really create like a nice casual space where like I feel safe to say like, hey, I have completely no idea what is going on in this specific field, and I'm able to figure it out, learn, and get help. And then the other org that I joined this last spring was Trojan Knights, a greater, like, larger community that's outside of just engineering within USC. And that was really great. I think I've created some, like, the closest friends that I have going into the fall semester within that organization. It's really helped me branch out outside of just engineering and being like a more broader student.
Caleb, sorry to put you on the spot. Do you think you could talk about your experience with NESB? I have a lot of friends in NESB, and I know it's a very close-knit community, and I know they would do a really great job with kind of that community building aspect. So I'd love to hear about that from your perspective.
I really like all my clubs, and NESB is also like one of my favorites. I found it very, just like you said, it's a community. It's a strong community. We have fun in the weekly meetings. We do informational sessions sometimes, but we also just like have icebreakers all the time, and everyone is always checking up on everyone, which is so important, especially given the climate of everything last semester as well. We just make sure to be there and have each other's backs. I've also been to like a few networking events through NESB, and have been able to do a lot of like networking with different companies that are like focused on like the Black component of the company and trying to diversify like staff in that set. So I think it's been a very beneficial club to me. It's exposed me to a lot of different people, and it's a very strong community.
I've been able to join AICI and AICI CAR within the Viterbi school. And with Chemi CAR, it's been really nice because they're teaching us how to use CAD and how to use Arduinos, which I've never like had experience with. So this is really cool. And then with AICI, they have guest speakers that come in. And it's really nice to hear them because within chemical engineering, there's still so many different fields that we can possibly work in. So hearing them, it shows like different paths that I could take. And then I also joined ACIO sorority because I've been looking for a way to socialize, especially with online school. So this has given me like a community where I can meet different people, and like being able to talk to freshmen and other upperclassmen just outside of my major. It's been really cool being able to meet up with them and just hang out.
So earlier, I got so carried away talking about marching band that I actually completely forgot to mention that I am also in SC Racing, which is a Viterbi design team that designs, tests, and manufactures a race car every season, which is, it's so amazing. I can't even begin to describe it. So I guess last semester, a lot of what we were doing is online, and this semester we're finally slowly making the transition to build the car in person.
The one thing I wanted to bring up, which is probably like one of my favorite things about freshman year, were general education seminars, or GESMs. And, for those listeners who are listening, GESMs are kind of, well, like USC has like a general education requirement, and general education seminars are like part of that, and they're only open to freshmen. It's kind of where professors just teach these really specific courses to really small groups of students. And I love talking about these because I had such a positive experience with mine. I took a class called Spy Novel Diplomacy, and it was an international relations class. And it was, I will talk about this class until the end of time, because it is just one of the best classes I've ever taken. And it was just so unique. We used to read like spy novels like James Bond and stuff, and we would talk about like the international relations of it all, and how like that kind of stuff, and like espionage, and how those kinds of agencies work in the real world. And I just wanted to hear from you guys, like what GESMs you took this year, and like what were your experiences, because for most people, or at least for most people in Viterbi, GESMs are really far out from what they're learning in their engineering classes. And I think it's just a really great exposure to the different disciplines, because so, I mean, a majority of our classwork is just going to end up being engineering, science, and math. So to have those kinds of to have that introduction to those worlds is just like something I was really grateful for. So I'd love to hear about your experience and your GESMs.
I really enjoyed my GESM. It's titled Reading Black Love. And it was, even though I feel like the title was kind of, didn't really match everything we learned in the class, it was very fun to just like experience a topic that was so far removed from engineering. Like we read a lot of books concerning Black romance and how it is portrayed in the media, and just getting that experience, the historical aspect and the prospective like mechanisms of where it's going in the future was very interesting to me, and I really enjoyed it. I got to write about papers and concepts that I liked, so it was a very positive experience for me as well.
Yeah, I am currently taking, I guess it's called Health and Fitness Through Dance, and it's an amazing class. My professor is Dr. Apostolos, but she's so sweet. She lets us call her Margot, and she kind of refers to all of the people in the class as our little GSM family. And I think something that you did mention when you were introducing the GSMs is I think they're capped at 18 or 19 students. So it's really a smaller, intimate class where it's really easy to get to know the other people in your class and sort of have more direct conversations with them. And I certainly think that that's one of the great things about freshman experience, because like you can come from a lecture with 120 people and then come to this GSM right after that where you get to be with a lot of a smaller class, which I think is really nice.
Like Lauren, I'm currently enrolled in my GSM that I'm taking right now, but I'm taking language, law, and literature. Not very similar to astronautical engineering, but I've really enjoyed it. I think what stands out most to me when taking this course, what I've really enjoyed is me personally, how applicable it is to like the real world setting. Like an understanding specifically how and what you say in your words and how it pertains to like the law in different scenarios, and then analyzing linguistically several court cases and different legal documents to understand what it is specifically that you can shape your words and how some different juries or jurors will change them in a way to create a different narrative. And I think that has really opened my eyes to like a new field. I'm not going to switch, but it is very interesting.
I didn't actually take a GSM, and I kind of want to use this as an opportunity to plug an alternate GE path called thematic option. And that's sort of like a reading and writing focused, intensive program that replaces all but 4 of your GEs. And the classes tend to be a little bit smaller and a little more discussion based and a little more like aggressively academic. Last semester, I took 2 classes for TO. Both of them were called Reasons of Love, Eros and Transcendence. And this semester, I'm taking a writing seminar called Politics and Poetics of the Anthropocene. And it's a lot of work as well. But if you're into writing and reading into sort of this alternate form of achieving your general education credit, I would recommend taking a look for sure. The applications are due pretty soon, so yeah.
I'm currently enrolled in science, literature, and ethics, which is kind of, they're trying to teach you about kind of the ethical dilemmas between different types of engineering, different decisions you make. For example, they made us read Frankenstein and Fahrenheit 451 and kind of analyze what type of ethical laws, are present in those books and how you could apply them as an engineer or, even as an observer. And that's something that it does sound pretty tedious and boring, but sometimes it does because there's a lot of reading. But overall, in the generic sense, it's kind of fun because you're trying to analyze and take apart literature and kind of understand what the authors are trying to portray through characters and kind of the message that they're trying to deliver to readers, and how technology that we develop could be dangerous or not dangerous, and how we can make it better.
One of the reasons I just really, really loved my GSM was how different it was, because you do spend a lot of time in those math and engineering classes, and as much as you like them, it's a really nice change of pace to start talking about other subjects that like you wouldn't normally think about, or like I never really thought I would be taking an international relations class as an engineering student, and it was probably one of my favorite experiences, and it was just a really great experience to like have to participate in these discussions and like have to get into arguments with your like friends and your peers about like different opinions. And it was probably like by far one of my favorite experiences outside of Viterbi. But kind of like wrapping this up, I wanted to talk again, like the hopes of this interview is that we can all meet up again when you're sophomores and I'm a senior, and we can kind of reflect on this year and next year. So what is something you'd like to accomplish in your sophomore year? And it doesn't have to be something like, I hope to get on the dean's list, or it can really just be something like, I really hope I just enjoy my classes and get to spend time in LA. But what are you most looking forward to, and what is something you'd like to accomplish in your sophomore year? Sorry, I was thinking about myself for a second.
I will say something that I'm extremely looking forward to is actually being able to be on campus in SC racing and actually being able to build a race car, like get hands-on experience. I mentioned that I enjoyed the hands-on work um, in terms of like robotics and engineering that I had done in the past. And unfortunately, through Zoom, we've still had some great meetings, but we're not able to like work hands-on. A lot of what we're doing is online CAD modeling and stuff like that. But I just can't wait to like be in shop with people and, you know, actually be working on layups and actually building stuff like that. I guess that's something that I really want for my sophomore year.
For me, I would want more engineering experience. I know it's kind of like, I guess, boring in a sense, but I really just want to be able to solidify my skills in the field, because I really am like, I'm an electrical and computer engineer, and I really want to focus on hardware aspects. And I have been getting a lot of hardware experience this semester with being in makers, as well as having 2 EE classes that have shipped out like kits and stuff. But I still want to just build on that component and skill in person, and I feel like that'll definitely help me. So I really look forward to being in the classroom and like actually like experiencing how it like feels to like build circuits and things of that nature.
I'm also looking forward to building out the Chem-E car and then going to competitions for that. This past year, I've also been working with my Freshman Academy mentor and one of my other chemical engineering buddies on this biodegradable bottle project. So I'm hoping by sophomore year, we'll be able to get these biodegradable bottles and ship them out to Nepal to help the communities there.
Sophomore year, I'm hoping to gain a little bit more friends, kind of get to know my student body a little bit better, as well as, you know, do the concrete canoe for ASCE, maybe the steel bridge for AIS, I think. A bunch of different combinations of acronyms, but you know, and also do research on campus, maybe with an opportunity with a professor, kind of sit into different classes, see what different teachers are kind of lecturing about beyond, you know, the required curriculum. Yeah, and I think that would be something that I would like to start off with going into sophomore year.
Accomplish wise, I want to do more hands-on work and complete projects I'm working on in Aspen, and like the little components that I'm doing with a friend of mine. And then what I'm like looking forward to is just being able to see in person all the people that I've met online and being able to do like fun things around the LA area.
Yeah, I think like Nick, I'm really looking forward to just getting to campus and seeing people and do all the fun things in the area. I'm also hoping that I can really take a good look at all my commitments and make sure that I haven't like over committed to anything, and to make sure that everything I'm doing actually makes me happy and helps me in my college path.
Yeah, well, thank you for those answers, guys. I'm really hoping that like next year when we do this, I'll be able to like actually like say these back to you guys and like check in on how you guys have done. But coming to Viterbi, I think there's just so many opportunities, like right as you start as a freshman, even like with research and organizations, that you do end up like getting really close to those accomplishments or like accomplishing something even greater. So I'm really excited to check in and see how we've all done. I just wanted to thank all of you for taking the time today to talk to me. I think this is just a really cool project, and I'm really glad that you all get to be part of it.
Thanks again, Mahima, for this episode. I think this is super important because I know we were chatting about this earlier, but high school seniors right now making college decisions, we're in probably a pretty similar situation to many of these current first year students last year, in that, maybe they can't visit campus in person. School has been online, it's just different circumstances than what we're used to when deciding on a college. So hopefully their experiences can kind of make that decision a little easier for people in a similar position.
Yeah, I completely agree. And also, like, speaking personally, I know that visiting campus was a big reason I ended up choosing USC. It was just like the feel of the community was really important to me. And it's really great to hear from these freshmen how they were able to find that community in an online space. And for anybody that's not able to visit USC before decision day, please give this a listen, and even just look at our website. We have a lot of great events, and it's also a really great opportunity to hear from students directly.
For sure. And we have a lot of podcasts on our website at Viterbi Voices, many of which Mahima's made. So thank you again for this one, and have a great week, everyone.